What's up, you guys? It's Gabby here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and gabbing with me today. Listen, I have seen what God has done for others, and my confession is I'm up next. So today I just want to briefly talk about when others get what we're believing God for. So many of us are believing God for something. Could be a promotion, healing, a new opportunity, marriage, whatever it is that we're believing God for. Sometimes it gets even harder when we see other people get what we have been praying for, what we have been going to God about. It can be a hard pill to swallow, to see someone else get what you've been continuously praying for. So let's talk about it. First, let's talk about what you should not do. The first thing you shouldn't do is blame yourself, saying that, you know what, this person's probably just smarter than me. This person's just more talented than me. You know, I haven't been working as hard. They're prettier than me. They're more likable than me. That's why they've got so quickly, it seems, what I've been believing God for so long. Paul talks about blame in Ephesians. When he's talking to the people of Ephesus, he tells them that Jesus chose you. He chose you, and he chose you to be blameless in his sight. Another word for blameless is without fault or faultless. But the enemy will love to point the finger back at you and compare you to other people, saying they have it because they're great, you have it because you're not. But Jesus has already told us that we're blameless, we're faultless, and he chose us. The second thing to not do when you see others get what you're believing God for is to become envious. Now, nobody really thinks that I'm an envious person. I'm just so envious of her. Most of the time, envy is disguised as skepticism and gossip. Skepticism says, oh, I'm believing God for promotion. They got a promotion, but it's probably not as much money. Or I'm believing God for marriage. This girl just got engaged, but I don't know. Something about them just doesn't seem right. It kind of seems forced. Being skeptical of what somebody else has because you believe they couldn't possibly get it before me. And gossip. Just flat out talking about them. Talking about what they have. Talking about they think they're all that. I don't know. They're kind of cocky. They're kind of big-headed. Skepticism and gossip about what somebody else got, especially when it's something that you have, is often really just envy. Proverbs 14:30 says, a heart that's at peace gives life to your body, but envy rots the bones. There's only so long that you can be envious before it starts to actually affect you. So if you're feeling envy, don't let your bones become rotten. Bring those concerns, bring out those feelings to God. The third thing you should not do when others get what you've been believing God for is change your mind. Unless God has spoken to you directly, don't allow the simple fact that somebody else has what you want change your mind about wanting it yourself. Listen, God has countless blessings available for every single person on the earth. God is not running out of blessings. He's not running out of promotion. He's not running out of husbands or wives. He's not running out of financial freedom. He's not running out of healing. Whatever it is you're believing God for, trust me, God has more than enough for you and everyone else. Galatians 6:9 says, don't get tired of doing good, but when the time is right, you will get what you're believing God for. But the key is don't give up. Now, those are just 3 things that you shouldn't do. But I also want to make sure to tell you 3 things you should do. And the first is celebrate them. When someone gets what you're believing God for, it's time to go crazy with celebrating them. Now, I don't mean this fake, phony, like, oh, I'm so happy for you, but really I'm feeling some type of way. But to really begin to think how we would want others to act when we get the blessing that we've been waiting on God for. Romans 12:15 simply says, rejoice with those who rejoice. They also could have really been praying for this and an expectation for this, and it's here for them. That's something to celebrate. We can't just think support, but we have to vocalize our support. Again, I'm not saying being phony and overdoing it because you want God to see how happy you are for other people so he can bless you, but really just begin to think, aren't you happy for them? The reality is, ignoring someone's happiness when God blesses them won't make the blessing come to you any faster. The second thing that you should do when others get what you've been believing God for is to heighten your level of expectation. Now, I hate how cliche this sounds, but there's this saying that says, when God is blessing your neighbor, that means he's in your neighborhood. No, it's super cliche, but it's so true. If God is blessing all the people around you, it's time to open your eyes and get ready because you're up next. Philippians 4:19 says, my God will supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. If there's a need, God can supply it. It's time to heighten our expectation. And the third thing that you should do is stay encouraged on purpose. Most of the time, it doesn't take this big, huge effort to get discouraged about something. So that means it does take a little extra effort to be and stay encouraged. One way to purposely stay encouraged is to find scriptures that are related to whatever you're believing God for. Find what they are, read them out loud, confess them over your life, and then begin to expect God to do it. Now, it takes effort to go through the Bible and find God's promises and find what he says about your situation, but that effort is well worth it. What is God saying about whatever it is you're believing him for? Trust me, there's 66 books. I guarantee whatever you're believing God for, there's a promise attached to it. It's time to find that promise so that you can stay encouraged. Thessalonians 5:17 just talks about praying consistently. That could mean pray for what you're believing God for, pray for God to help your heart while you wait, pray for God to give you wisdom, resources, and insight to accomplish what you're believing him for. The more you pray, the more you'll be encouraged. And if you're praying and you attach God's promise to that prayer, it's a wrap. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and gabbing with me today. Listen, sometimes it can be difficult to watch others get what you've been believing God for. But confess with me today that I've seen what God has done for others, and I'm up next.